The bridge of the unstoppable doom hummed with the low thrum of its engines, the vastness of space stretching endlessly beyond the viewports. Captain Zyx'nagor of the Galactic Confederation's 17th Conquest Fleet froze mid-command, his tentacles twitching in a strange blend of disbelief and barely contained laughter.
"You want us to do what now?"
Across from him, Admiral Kalos, Supreme Commander of the Confederation's military forces, folded all four of his arms, his scaled brow furrowing. "I said, Captain, we are to launch an invasion of a planet called Earth, located in the Sol system.
Intelligence marks them as a pre-FTL species with minimal defenses. It should be an effortless annexation."
Zyx blinked, then let out a sound somewhere between a choking cough and a volley of high-pitched whistles.
It took a moment before the bridge crew realized he was laughing. "Oh, Admiral," Zyx said, still wheezing, "have you been into the Zorgon fire whiskey again? Because that's the only explanation for a plan this suicidal." Kalos's scales darkened to a deep violet, a bad sign.
"This is no joke, Captain.
The High Council decrees that Earth must be brought into the Confederation. By diplomacy if possible, by force if necessary. Are you refusing an order?"
"Not refusing," Zyx replied, his grin widening to reveal needle-like teeth.
"I'm just trying to save your reputation and the fleet from becoming a cautionary footnote in a history book." The Admiral narrowed his eyes. "Explain."
Zyx sighed, waving a tentacle toward the holoprojector.
"All right, children, gather around for a history lesson." A three-dimensional model of Earth appeared, spinning lazily in the center of the bridge. "Pretty little mudball, isn't it?" Zyx said. "Pre-FTL. No shields. No energy weapons.
On paper, the perfect target."
Kalos gestured impatiently. "Exactly. So what's the problem?" Zyx's grin took on a dangerous edge.
"About 200 standard years ago, the Drevar Empire had the same thought. They'd just conquered 3 star systems in a row, felt invincible, so they sent a full fleet to Earth.
Planned to subdue it within 1 solar cycle."
He paused for effect, tentacles curling like a storyteller leaning in to spook children.
"You know what happened to that fleet?" Kalos shook his head. "They're gone. Every last Drevar. Not a single one left in the galaxy." The Admiral's scales paled. "Wiped out? By humans? How?"
Zyx leaned in so close the tips of his tentacles brushed Kalos's shoulder. His voice dropped to a conspiratorial whisper.
"They ate them." Gasps rippled across the bridge.
One ensign actually dropped his datapad.
Kalos stumbled back. "Impossible. Surely that's a joke?"
"Oh, I wish," Zyx said with a bark of laughter.
"Not only did humans repel the Drevar invasion, they hunted the survivors across the stars. And when they caught them, well, waste not, want not. Turns out Drevar meat is a delicacy on Earth."
"That's barbaric," Kalos stammered.
"Barbaric?" Zyx gave a sharp, humorless laugh. "You haven't seen Barbaric yet."
With a flick of his tentacle, the holoprojector shifted to a montage, humans in primitive-looking powered armor tearing through Drevar fortifications, massive kinetic projectiles pulverizing shielded warships, battlefield footage where electromagnetic pulses turned sleek alien weapons into useless scrap.
"They didn't match the Drevar tech for tech," Zyx explained. "They adapted. Built weapons from whatever they had. Figured out our vulnerabilities faster than most war colleges could run a simulation. And when the shooting stopped."
The display shifted again, now showing humans wearing armor decorated with Drevar skulls, teeth strung into necklaces, banners made of alien hides. They turned victory into a psychological weapon.
Broadcast their feasts on open channels. Sent their enemies nightmares before the next battle even began. Kalos swallowed hard. "Surely, some humans are peaceful?" "Oh, plenty," Zyx said with mock cheer.
"And they write books, make films, and play games about the creative destruction of alien life.
Entire genres dedicated to our extinction. They call it science fiction. I call it research and development."
The Admiral slumped into a chair, his eyes unfocused.
Then, you believe they want us to attack?
Of course, Zyx said, leaning back with a smug smile.
They're probably bored waiting for the next species arrogant enough to try. And Admiral, I'd rather not be on the menu.
The bridge lights dimmed slightly as Captain Zyx'nagor's voice lowered, the tone slipping into something that made the entire crew instinctively lean closer, like children gathered around a campfire for a ghost story.
You know what happened to the Zaro Collective, he said softly. They met the humans, and smiled. Told them they'd be delighted to join their little interstellar family.
Within a decade, the Zaro were a client species on their own homeworld, with humans running the show. The captain leaned toward Admiral Kalos, his voice dropping to a knife-edge whisper.
And the worst part? The Zara thanked them for it.
Said the humans had optimized resource allocation and improved efficiency. Zyx's tentacles curled in amusement. It was like watching a prey animal thank the predator currently chewing through its ribcage for helping it lose weight.
Kalos's eyes darted around the bridge.
How can one species be so
terrifying? Zyx supplied. Take your pick.
Ruthless, adaptable, relentless. They evolved on a death world where everything, even the plants, tried to kill them.
They didn't just survive, they domesticated their deadliest predators.
They eat food that would kill most species as a party snack. They throw themselves out of perfectly functional aircraft for fun. His tone shifted, touched with reluctant admiration.
And here's the truly frightening part, they're polite about it. They'll smile, shake your hand, feed you dinner, introduce you to their children, all while figuring out 17 different ways to use your biology against you.
If you so much as glare at them wrong, they'll dismantle your entire civilization and convince you it was for your own good.
Kalos's scale shifted from green to a pale, icy blue, the color of deep distress in his species. The High Council has ordered the invasion. We can't just ignore them. Zyx's grin returned, sly and conspiratorial. Oh, we're not ignoring them.
We're going to follow the order exactly. We'll take the fleet to the Sol system, display our glorious invasion force for all to see, and then we'll do something no species has ever been smart enough to try.
The Admiral leaned forward despite himself. What's that?
Zyx's grin widened into something that made even his own crew shift uneasily.
We're going to surrender. Silence fell over the bridge.
Then, as if a dam had burst, the crew erupted into laughter.
Kalos did not laugh. You've gone mad. Surrendering to a pre-FTL world? The Council will have our heads.
The Council will be too busy trying to hold on to their thrones once the humans are done with them, Zyx said, waving a tentacle dismissively. Surrender is the only course that ensures we keep our hides, scales, and assorted appendages intact. He turned to address the crew. Think about it, we arrive in the Sol system, announce we are humbled by humanity's legendary power, and offer ourselves as their loyal servants in exchange for mercy.
Their egos will lap it up.
They'll welcome us, feed us, maybe even protect us.
And then, Kalos's eyes narrowed. We learn everything we can about them. Exactly. We stay close. We study them.
And while they're flattered, they'll also be picking apart our technology, FTL drives, energy weapons, replicators, everything. They'll see through the ruse, of course.
But they'll still play along, because it benefits them.
It's what they call plausible deniability. And by the time they've learned all they can from us, Kalos trailed off.
It'll be too late, Zyx finished. The Confederation won't be able to touch them.
We'll have hand-delivered the keys to galactic dominance, and they'll use them. They're going to be a superpower whether we help them or not. The only choice is whether we end up allies, or the main course at their victory banquet. Zyx gestured toward the hologram of Earth, a small blue-and-green marble spinning serenely. Make no mistake, Admiral, humanity isn't going to knock politely.
They'll kick down the door, walk in like they own the place, and somehow convince everyone we invited them. And by the end, we'll probably be thanking them.
Kalos rose, his posture stiff. Very well, Captain. We'll proceed with your unconventional plan.
But for the record, I think this is insane. Zyx's grin was all teeth. Noted, Admiral. But when it comes to humans, insanity is the only sane response. He turned to the helm. Set course for Sol at maximum speed. Time to make some new friends, and pray we don't look appetizing. As hyperspace swirled into view, Zyx mused aloud, "You know, I once met a Rillan trader who visited Earth. Poor fool was never the same." The Admiral glanced over. "What happened to him?" "Oh, he landed in a city called New York to sell trinkets. Thought he'd catch them off guard. Within minutes, he was surrounded by humans. Not scared. Not surprised. You know what they did?" Kalos shook his head. "They tried to sell him things." Zyx burst into laughter, the sound a bizarre cross between a dolphin's clicks and a hyena's cackle. Picture it, tentacles full of cheap baubles, and suddenly he's being hustled into buying authentic Earth souvenirs at 5 times their actual value. He swore the only reason he escaped with his ship was because they hadn't yet figured out how to auction it off. The crew chuckled nervously. No one missed the fact that the captain was only half joking. The alien vessel Unstoppable Doom was quieter than usual, save for the captain's animated storytelling. And there they were, Captain Zyx'nagor continued, these creatures crammed into a narrow street, waving fried-meat tubes at each other while rushing toward counterfeit handbags and overpriced tickets to something called Hamilton. The bridge crew chuckled. Even Admiral Krovos, a usually stoic, scale-armored tactician, let out a reluctant smile, his coloration shifting to a calmer blue. "That's only one city," the Admiral said. "The rest of the planet can't possibly be like that." Zyx'nagor's laughter stopped abruptly. He leaned forward, his expression morphing into mock horror. "Oh, my poor, naive friend, that was one of their quiet cities. Let me introduce you to a place they call Florida." Before he could begin his next tale, the navigation officer's voice cut in sharply. "Captain, we're approaching the Sol system. Dropping out of hyperspace in 5 minutes." The mood snapped from playful to tense. Zyx'nagor straightened in his command chair, his tentacles curling into tight coils. "Right, listen up. This is it, the moment of truth. No matter what happens, no matter what we see, we stick to the plan. We're here to surrender, not fight. Even if they start shooting. Even if their ships look like they were bolted together by drunk mechanics with a death wish, we do not engage." A chorus of affirmations rippled across the bridge. Admiral Krovos, now looking slightly green around the gills, gave a reluctant nod. Zyx'nagor's voice deepened. "Understand this, humans have been imagining alien contact for centuries. In their stories, peaceful or hostile, no matter the odds, they always come out on top. So, don't try to outgun them. Don't try to outthink them. And for the love of every god in this galaxy, do not try to outcrazy them. They are undefeated champions in that arena." The swirling colors of hyperspace collapsed into the black velvet of normal space. Before them floated a blue-green jewel, Earth. Silence held the bridge until the communications officer, a composed and unflappable Relar, suddenly burst into uncontrollable laughter. Zyx'nagor turned slowly. "Broadcasting what, exactly?" A button click. The bridge filled with chaos, thousands of overlapping transmissions, political debates, cat videos, orchestral symphonies, and music that sounded like malfunctioning industrial machinery. Interspersed among them were countless depictions of alien encounters, ranging from awe-inspiring to utterly absurd. Through it all, one message repeated, in every human tongue and unervingly, in flawless galactic standard. "Attention alien visitors, welcome to Earth. We've been expecting you. Please proceed to designated landing zones, and under no circumstances accept food from a Floridian." Zyx'nagor stared at the display, tentacles slack. Then, slowly, he began to laugh. It started as a quiet rumble and swelled into a full-bodied roar. "Captain?" Admiral Krovos asked warily. "What's so funny?" "They've beaten us," Zyx'nagor wheezed between laughs. "We thought we were clever, surrendering is part of a ruse. But look at them. They aren't afraid. They aren't surprised. They're ready. They knew about Florida.
He jabbed a tentacle toward the screen. They've probably been listening to us for years, learning our languages, cataloging our weaknesses.
We didn't arrive to conquer. The moment we entered this system, we became applicants. Applicants? Krovos blinked all four eyes. For what? Zyx'nagor's grin was a mix of admiration and dread.
For junior membership in whatever lunatic interstellar society they're about to build.
Face it, Admiral, we're not invaders. We're the first wave of immigrants to the human empire.
He turned to the comms officer.
Well, don't just sit there. Send them our acceptance.
Tell them the Galactic Confederation welcomes their offer of hospitality and looks forward to cultural exchange. The message was transmitted. Zyx'nagor sank back into his chair, watching Earth grow larger in the viewport. I've always wondered what one of those hot dogs tastes like, he murmured.
Krovos, pale and shaken, asked, We're actually landing?
Oh, Admiral, Zyx'nagor chuckled, at this point I'm sure of nothing except that the humans are in control now. And our best move is to smile, nod, and hope they keep us as allies instead of outrace. He leaned forward, eyes bright with a strange blend of fear and excitement.
Besides, think of the stories. The day we surrendered to Earth, and they threw us a party? It'll be the highlight of the next Confederation mixer.
As the fleet descended toward the designated landing zone, the unstoppable Doom's bridge hummed with restless energy. No one knew whether they were stepping into an alliance, a trap, or something far stranger.
But one thing was certain. The humans were ready. The delegation room aboard the unstoppable Doom was a whirl of activity.
Some alien officers excitedly debated which human cultures they most wanted to experience first, the spicy cuisines, the ancient rituals, the bizarre sporting events. Others, more pessimistic, quietly made their peace with whichever deities they worshipped. Captain Zyx'nagor, ever the pragmatist, was already rehearsing his report to the High Council. Successful first contact with Earth, he muttered under his breath. Minor complications, including total surrender of Confederation authority and possible involuntary participation in human expansion efforts. But, their music is strangely addictive. And the food, well, we'll see if it's worth dying for. The ship began its descent into Earth's atmosphere when a new transmission lit up the main screen.
A human face appeared, smiling in a way that was somehow both hospitable and faintly predatory. Greetings, friends from the stars. On behalf of Earth, welcome. We've prepared a small reception for you, nothing extravagant, just a few billion of us eager to say hello. Oh, and the folks in tinfoil hats? Harmless, mostly. The smile grew wider, revealing more teeth than Zyx'nagor was entirely comfortable with. We're looking forward to learning all about you. We have so many questions, like how fast can your ships go? What's the structural tolerance of your hull plating? And, purely out of curiosity, do you know the strategic vulnerabilities of any other alien civilizations? Zyx'nagor turned to Admiral Kaarath with a weary look. Well, Admiral, I hope you've been brushing up on diplomacy. I have a feeling this is going to be one very interesting cultural exchange. Moments later, the unstoppable Doom touched down amid roaring crowds, flashing lights, and what appeared to be an impromptu alien-themed rock concert. Zyx'nagor's last private thought before the airlock hissed open was simple. Perhaps we should have just sent a fruit basket. And with that, the 17th Conquest Fleet of the Galactic Confederation became the first official alien delegation to set foot on Earth, marking the beginning of an age defined by human ingenuity, alien confusion, and the nagging question of whether surrender had been history's best, or worst, idea. Somewhere in the far reaches of space, other civilizations felt a sudden, unexplainable urge to reinforce their defenses and maybe, just maybe, send a polite "please don't notice us" message to the small blue world in the unfashionable corner of the galaxy. The ramp lowered. Captain Zyx'nagor and Admiral Kaarath stepped out to meet the deafening cheers, rapid-fire camera clicks, and a chorus of Earth music that seemed to celebrate their arrival. At least, Zyx'nagor muttered, they're not shooting at us, yet. A group of humans in formal attire approached. Leading them was a woman whose smile could mean welcome, honored guests,
or I can't wait to dissect you.
She extended a hand.
You're supposed to shake it, Kaarath whispered, having somehow mastered human customs in the past 5 minutes. Zyx'nagor gingerly wrapped a tentacle around her hand and gave it a cautious squeeze. To his surprise, she neither recoiled nor tried to eat it. Welcome to Earth, she said warmly, her voice amplified by some elegantly hidden device. I'm Dr. Elena Rodriguez, Coordinator for Extraterrestrial Relations.
We're so glad you could make it. You were expecting us? Zyx'nagor asked, all 7 eyes blinking in surprise.
Oh yes, Rodriguez replied with a cheerful glint.
We've been monitoring your transmissions for years. Loved your captain's log about the space pirate mix-up with the tentacle monster. Absolutely hilarious.
The captain's skin flushed deep purple.
You heard that?
We've heard everything, she said brightly. And we've prepared accommodations tailored to your biology, optimal methane-oxygen balance, compatible cuisine, and entertainment options.
We even have zero-gravity juggling, since we understand you're fond of it.
Kaarath leaned closer.
Captain, I think we might be out of our depth. Zyx'nagor chuckled. Out of our depth? Admiral, we're bottom-dwelling cavefish in the Mariana Trench.
Rodriguez clapped her hands together. Now, I'm sure you have questions, and we'll get to them. But first, a tour. Nothing extravagant, just a quick look at our latest work in quantum computing, nanotechnology, and zero-point energy extraction. Oh, and a peek at our pocket dimension experiments, just some light afternoon entertainment.
And with that, humanity's grand welcome began, and the universe would never be quite the same again.
The alien Captain Zyx'nagor stood in awe beneath towers that shimmered like liquid starlight. Humanity's cities stretched into the clouds, impossibly advanced, and yet, in the streets below, among the cheering crowds, he spotted something deeply peculiar. Clusters of humans wore shirts with slogans like,
I, for one, welcome our new alien overlords. And
Earth closed for renovations, reopening soon as Galactic Hub 42. The captain turned toward Dr. Rodriguez, their human escort, suspicion in his many eyes. Doctor, he said slowly, I get the feeling you've been preparing for our arrival, for quite some time. The doctor's smile was warm, but there was something in it, an edge of playful menace.
Oh, Captain, you have no idea.
Let's just say humanity has always had a special relationship with the stars.
And now that you're here, the sky is no longer the limit.
Inside the first building, Zyx'nagor's crew was confronted with technology so advanced it made their proudest engineering feats look like crude toys. Holographic panels told the story of Earth's rise, from the first crackling radio signals to their current, physics-defying mastery, all within barely a century.
But how?
Admiral Cad sputtered, his scales flashing through a rainbow of confusion.
Our intelligence reported you were pre-FTL. How did you advance so fast?
Dr. Rodriguez leaned in conspiratorially. Well, we may have massaged our public broadcasts a little. You'd be amazed what you can hide behind cat videos and reality TV. Truth is, we cracked faster than light travel about 50 years ago, we just kept it quiet.
More fun to surprise guests, don't you think?
The captain felt an uneasy laugh rising in his throat.
So let me understand this. We came here to graciously offer our surrender to a primitive world. Only to find you're centuries ahead of us, and have likely been influencing galactic politics from the shadows?
The doctor patted what she probably thought was his shoulder. Oh, don't be so dramatic, Captain.
You're here now, and that's the first step. We have plans for the Galactic Confederation. Nothing too drastic. Just a little restructuring. We're thinking of calling it the Space United Nations. Sun for short. Catchy, right?
Every new exhibit was stranger and more brilliant than the last. Humanity had merged incompatible technologies into impossible synergies. At one display, the doctor gestured toward a simple, unmarked cube.
This is our newest innovation, the plot device. Need faster than light comms? Check. Universal translation? Check. Want to casually rewrite the laws of physics? Double check. At last, the normally quiet Admiral Kos blurted out, "If you're this advanced, why not simply conquer the galaxy?" Rodriguez laughed, a rich, full laugh this time. Conquer? How boring. We'd rather integrate. We don't want to rule the galaxy, we want to party with it. This, she swept her arms wide at the dazzling displays, is just the welcome banquet. Humanity is ready to join the galactic community, on our terms. She pressed a glass of something fluorescent and bubbling into the captain's grasp. What's this? He asked suspiciously. Oh, just a little drink we call a pan-galactic gargle blaster. Don't worry, we tweaked the recipe for your biology, it should only be mildly hallucinogenic. As the drink fizzed down to his third stomach, Zyx'nagor had a revelation. The Confederation hadn't surrendered to Earth, they'd volunteered to be the opening act for humanity's arrival on the galactic stage. Months later, the newly formed United Galactic Federation, SUN, was considered a bit too on the nose, held its first interstellar conference. Standing before 1,000 alien delegates, Captain Zyx'nagor began his speech. I stand before you not as a conqueror, nor as the conquered, but as a friend to humanity, and to all who are ready to embrace the greatest adventure our galaxy has ever seen. When we came to Earth, we thought we knew what awaited us. We were wrong. Humanity has shown us a universe stranger, brighter, and far more entertaining than we ever imagined. They've taught us to meet the unknown not with fear or aggression, but with curiosity, adaptability, and a very good sense of humor. He raised a glass of another human invention, the cosmic colada. To humanity, may their madness inspire us, their creativity challenge us, and their friendship guide us. The road ahead will be one hell of a ride. The hall erupted in cheers. Somewhere, in distant star systems, other civilizations were picking up Earth's transmissions, no doubt scratching whatever passed for their heads. Zyx'nagor had one piece of advice for them. Welcome to the party. And whatever you do, never eat anything a Floridian offers you. And so, the galaxy's greatest era began, not with a bang, not with a whimper, but with a toast, a laugh, and the pulsing beat of human disco echoing between the stars. The universe would never be the same again. And frankly, that was for the best.